Hey, what's going on, guys? So today we're going to be doing the Q8FN at the top to the LG E8 at the bottom. Now, before I dive into this video, I want to say thanks to all you guys who were just like really cool and again showing support to me. For those that don't know, I'm pretty sick. I've been in the hospital literally all day today. It really freaking sucked. I had so many damn tests done, and I have reached a verdict. So for those who are wondering, I have nerve damage and it's degenerative. So, even though I'm healthy, I have no real health ailments due to my own issues or anything I've caused. I mean, I do have permanent nerve damage, and it's something that's, I need a neurosurgeon to correct, and it's going to be a really expensive surgery, and there's a whole lot involved, so it's a big fucking nightmare, to be honest with you, and not really happy about that, but I did want to at least give you guys that information since you guys, of course, are, holding it down and being as awesome as you guys are being. I am going through a really, really fucking rough time right now, like understatement of the year for me. But at the least I wanted to give you guys this information because I know a lot of you guys have been requesting to see the SDR performance of the Q8FN versus the LG E8 and particularly how it does with gaming and things of that nature. So I'll just be kind of going over that stuff for you guys. So with that recap out of the way, if you guys have any questions or you guys want to inquire more about my situation or what's going on, you guys can always find me in the comment section. You guys know I'm good for it. Alright, so what we're going to talk about is basically how this television performs when going up against the Q8FN. Now, it is important to note that you have to follow the commentary till the end because, to be very real with you, you're not going to see a real-world representation, no matter how excellent my videography skills may or may not be. It's just you're not going to see everything, and something is going to be missed, and if that happens, I do apologize, but do try to kind of keep it on track with me and what I'm saying here. I've got my phone ringing, probably my doctor calling me, whatever. Anyway, we're going to go and talk about the differences here. Okay, so for starters, the red on OLED is dramatically more punchy, and it leaps off the screen a lot more impressively. So if we look at the bottom, I'm going to have to teeter between these two. Sorry again for those who may not like that, but the OLED is exhibiting ridiculous amounts of color. If you can notice, like, just as we look around the environment, we can look at Scarlet, and the Q8FN at the top is a lot more faded by comparison. So this is a nice change, I would say, from what I experienced with the C8. And of course, this is due to in-depth, really hardcore calibrations, tuning everything to be exactly buttoned up and exactly how I want them to be. But I wanted to show you guys the differences because it's of course always being misrepresented by, a lot of the mainstream dudes. Now, I don't know if I should probably be better off just putting this thing in like autofocus, so I'll just try that to see if maybe that improves, because right now I'm probably not doing the best job of keeping everything in focus. But my point being, you guys can see, like, there is a color difference, right? And if you look at the background and you look at the building in the background, you'll notice, like, there's a big amount of detail that you're not getting on the Q8FN. The brightness of the Q8FN is fantastic, though. That's the thing. You're going to notice, like, around the tree, you have a lot of highlights bouncing off, but down here, it's just depth, right? Undeniable depth. And that comes, again, just because it's an OLED, and you guys know the deal. It's dimmer, so it doesn't have as many pollutions coming through from the light source and all that good stuff. But at the same time, it's not perfect either. There are some things I wish would be better, like obviously the highlight detail, but overall, OLED is delivering the more impressive image. Now, I'm going to just try to lock it right about here, right, so I don't have to keep going back and forth between the two. And just try to show you guys, like, okay, so that's Scarlet here. Let's show you guys if I go into another map, right, or another scenario. You guys can kind of see maybe a little more or a little less depending. Again, this is SDR on both, and just for reference, the LG OLED is at the bottom. See, like, when we're on menu screens like this, it's a win for the Q8FN, because OLED, even though it has more depth and you see more shades of color in things like the background and the shade of green, especially around the background areas there versus up there where it's just like kind of flat grayish looking, it's definitely not like as vivid on things like Cetrion or Cetrion, however you say this character's name. A lot more green coming out on the Q8FN, if you can see that. It's just ridiculous at this point, right? And it only becomes more ridiculous as you go through different characters. See, we got Scarlet here. I would call this one at a tie pretty much. They both look really impressive. Obviously giving the edge to OLED just simply because it's doing a really, really good job of separating reds from other colors. And that's one of the big things that I've noticed with like the OLED versus the Samsung. Both TVs have been calibrated, just so you guys know if you guys were wondering. But it's really that OLED that's really giving you that detail. Like, you know, it's very natural looking, and by natural I don't mean undersaturated. I mean like you can see like the brown of her eyes a lot better on OLED than you can on QLED, things like that, right? So let's go into like, you know, let's do like, I don't know, what do you say? We'll do like Scorpion, right? I don't even know my own variations, to be real with you. So we're just gonna go Scorpion with, what do you say? I'll do this version of Scorpion. We're gonna do Sub-Zero, right? I got many variations of like all these characters, so it gets kind of hard to keep track of all these characters. I'll do the really, really blue one, and we'll go to, what do you think is a really scenic place, right? Let's try this. This will show off a lot of green and things like that. It's hard because these TVs do go back and forth, as you guys know. And there's, I mean, a bit of a ballet that you have to keep in mind. So when we look at images like this, right now, from what I'm looking at, it's a win for the Q8FN. Because the Q8FN has more vibrancy behind the yellow. The blue is more pronounced, more vivid, more natural looking. OLED does have the depth of the background though, so that's going to be the strong suit there. So like as we go through and we just do different things and we try to see like different scenery, you can see like it's definitely more enjoyable on the Q8FN as far as highlight detail. Now of course YouTube probably won't show any of this off, but I want to try to show this on camera if I can. If you take a look at this giant bug in the top here, this highlight here is coming through way stronger than on OLED where it's really dim. And that's like the biggest problem with OLED, being quite real with you, you know what I mean? Like you're just not going to have that pop behind your colors. And that's where we are now. Like, and I'm noticing also the OLED is way smoother than the Q8FN by comparison. So the Q8 is sharper, loads more detailed. Like as I'm looking, like I see every little detail sitting close up on the Q8FN. Or on OLED, I'm not really getting that. I'm getting much more of a smoother picture. So some people might actually like that. I prefer the look of the Q8FN for this particular thing here, just simply because I think it looks better, you know? So we're going to try to go into, what do you say, a little bit of the story, and you guys can kind of, I don't know, maybe see something. The idea here is not to bash any one TV as always. It's just to kind of show you guys just what we're getting into. Now, also, if I sound a little, I don't know, like lost for energy or enthusiasm throughout this video, it's because, again, I'm not 100%, right? Like, I'm just doing what I can to help you guys out. I feel like crap, to be very real with you guys. I really do. I'm doing a good job of, I guess, talking through it and like just kind of helping you guys, but yeah, it's a pretty shit deal that I've got here. So do bear with me if I have low energy or whatever the case may be. Now, of course, when we're looking at the colors are a massive difference on the Q8FN because of the vibrancy. So you're seeing a lot of that play a role here. And it's weird, they do tend to like trade back and forth, like I say, like a lot. I mean, really though, like they are pretty comparable to one another. And I think if you're somebody that likes vibrancy though, the Q8FN is definitely going to be for you because it blasts off the highlights from those explosions. Where OLED tends to look a little more green, I've noticed. It's not really as, I don't know, like reddish, if you will, which holds more of a natural hue under like a flame. I don't know. But it's hard because both TVs do look great, and both TVs are quite fantastic. Especially after my calibration, I'm really quite pleased with what I was able to accomplish here. So you can kind of see a little bit more here, you know. I have no idea how to play as Cassie Cage. Like, not even the slightest clue, right? But this is the best I can do. I don't know. I'm not really a Cassie Cage player. I don't really like this character, but you guys get the idea. Like, it's a pretty colorful set. So for those who are wondering, is it a good idea to pick up the OLED E8? Yes, it's a good idea. I mean, whether you go E8, whether you go you know, QLED for the Q8FN side of things, both do look really, really good. And I'm not trying to like oversell you on the idea of just getting an OLED because, again, if you look at the QLED at the top and you look at the skin tones, OLED has more faded skin tones here, where on the Q8FN at the top, up here, much more natural, and you see way more of the red, of the natural red that you would find in a skin tone versus like a flat color. So guys, when I'm telling you like it trades off, it's almost stupid how badly they trade back and forth with details. On the one hand, you'll have OLED that'll have like a really strong representation of one color, and then you look up at the Q8FN and then it's just like an entirely different ballpark. It's just weird how they represent colors so vastly different from one another. Looking at this image, I can see Frost, and her mask is just 10 times more vibrant, it feels like, on the Q8FN than what you're going to get on the OLED. Now, of course, those who have to pick and choose and pick the side of OLED, obviously, they're going to feel like this is oversaturated, and they'll chant that from now until the cows come home. But the reality is it's not oversaturated. It's just really naturally vibrant and vivid. And I think that's really one of the cool things about the QLED, though they lack the ability to finally adjust colors and finally adjust the warm tones of colors, so you don't really have the ability to get like colors down to like, I don't know, as pure of a form as you would like. And I think that's one of the big shames with this TV. But overall, from what I can show you guys within the limited confines of YouTube and all that stuff, it does look really good. I'll try to show you guys one more, like, I guess, opening movie scene, I don't know, really know what you want to call these things. Why don't we try one with a little bit more brightness? Nope, that's not it. Let's try this one. Just to try one with a little bit more brightness to it, you know. I'm gonna try... The final scene looks pretty decent, so let's just look at that. Yeah, you know, like as you're looking at like the color Katana, way more punchy on the Q8. This scene looks better on OLED at the bottom. You got more red on Shao Kahn. And now you're looking at colors. Now colors are more vibrant on the Q8FN. It's literally like the weirdest play-by-play. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to have these TVs, both of them. But, you know, let's say you had to pick and choose, right? You didn't have the luxury of saying, I'm just going to pick one or both and have that. I would say you'd be better off with the Q8FN, only because you're able to get much more realistic, natural, vivid color than what you're getting on OLED for the most part. Like on an overall scale, like the Q8FN is just dominating as far as color. Like look at, you know, Jade's face just then. That was like really crazily impressive. And this is the difference between these displays. Like this is what you have to look forward to. It is what it is. It's hard because a lot of places try to hide the differences, and they try to pretend like, oh, the Q8FN is just an LED, it'll never really match whatever nonsense they say. You guys know. But the reality is this, it's pretty decent, pretty nice overall. I mean, really, I'm really happy looking at both images. So if you wanted to know a definitive winner, there really, I can't say that there is a definitive winner per se, but I feel like they are comparable to one another. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm being of much help, to be honest with you. I know a lot of you guys wanted to see like Mortal Kombat 11, and particularly outside of HDR, to see like how it looks. And I gotta say, like the Q8FN, always impressive, always vibrant. It's almost like, you know, stepping into literally a whole new world of color on the Q8FN side of things when you come from the OLED. It really is, but then in other scenes it's like the reverse, where it feels like that for OLED. So it's really hard because the depth that OLED gives you is definitely undeniable. But I don't know, man. They're really equal. I'd say these TVs are tied to one another. Either one, and you're good to go. That being said, thanks for watching the #1 brand in honesty. I hope I was able to cover these questions. If you guys have more comparisons or anything like that you want to see, just let me know. I'll do what I can to try to get this content out to you. And until the next video, I'll see you guys later.